guys. This is the alto saxophone Wind Symphony Audition Solo. I'm probably going to do this in two segments. The first video is going to be the slower section, and the second video is going to be the faster section. So we're starting with the slow section. Let's talk about some of the rhythms that we have in just the first line. So if I was to count and clap the rhythms, it's in 3/4. There's triplets, which we haven't really gone over in beginning band yet. But when you are counting triplets in this tempo, those are eighth note triplets in this first line. It'd be 1 tita, 2 tita, 3 tita. So you're squeezing 3 notes into one beat. All right. So let's just count the first line. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and a 2. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1 tita 2. 1 and 3 and 1. 3 and. Okay. So now with my metronome, because you should always practice your solos with a metronome, this says 63. So we're going to go 63.
1, 2.
I'm going to take out this subdivision.
1, 2,
3, 4.
3.
There we go.
1, 2, 3. 1.
Here we go.
2, 3.
1,
1,
2,
2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. 2,
Okay?
3.
So that's how you would play the rhythms and all that. Now let's go over some of the notes that I just played. We've got B flat in our key signature, which means all of our Fs are going to be natural. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and first finger. Okay, all of our Fs. The really high note in this line is a high C, which is just the register key, the thumb key, and the middle finger on the top hand. All right, let's try playing that together now. I'll turn this up just a little bit so I can hear it
1,
better.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
So I'm not taking a breath throughout that whole measure, but you guys can absolutely do that. Just make sure when you take a breath, you don't lose time. All right, let's look at the next line. Rhythms are similar. We've got that 1 and a 2 happening twice. So let's just count the rhythm. Here we go. 1, 2, counting the rhythm. 1 and 3 and 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1 and a 2. 1, 2, 3. 1 and a 2. Okay, now I'm going to play it for you.
1, 2.
And we'll talk about
3.
the notes.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1.
Okay, so the high note in the first measure is a high D. So you're going to play that with your thumb key and the closest palm to your thumb, that one. So that's going to be the high D. You really have to tighten up your embouchure and bring your tongue back. It's a hard note to hit. It's very high. So do your best. If it squeaks when you play it, just keep on going. All the other notes we've gone over before. In the last measure, the second line, you've got a B natural. So make sure that that is going to be A, which is 2 and register key, B natural, 1 and register key, and back down to the A natural. All right, let's play together now.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1.
Okay? Now the next line, we've got some tricky rhythms going on. So the rhythm in the first measure of the third line it looks like 16th notes, but there's a 5 underneath. That means you're going to squeeze into one beat 5 notes. It's called a 5-lit. So kind of like that triplet where it's 3 notes in one beat, it's going to be 5 notes in one beat. So you kind of just, if there's no way to count it, you just have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I was counting it, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So you're going to squeeze those 5 notes into that one beat. Let's do this counting it, and then I'll play it for you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, triplet, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and a 2. So there's that rhythm again. We've seen that one before. All right, I'm going to play it, and then I'll talk about some of the notes.
3, 1, 2.
Hopefully play it right.
3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, sorry. It's a B flat in that measure. I messed up. But that's the right idea. So let's talk about some of the notes. In the first measure, you have a D sharp. A D sharp is also an E flat. So a D sharp is going to be played 6 fingers with the back register key and the top pinky key on the bottom. That's the D sharp. Okay? Now, here's the tricky thing. That D sharp carries through the measure. So in that 5-lit, the D is also going to be sharp. So if you're playing that, you got to get both your third finger and your pinky down after the E. Okay? So I'll go that measure nice and slow. So I'm getting that pinky down as well. In the next measure, you got to C sharp, no hands. Okay? Then you've got to B natural. And at the end, it goes back to B flat, and I missed that. So the last measure in the third line is a B flat. So if I play just the last measure, it's also got an A flat. An A flat, oh my gosh, and an E flat. Okay, let's back it up a bit. The last 2 measures of the third line start out with a low C, which is 6 and the bottom pinky key. Then the low E flat is 6 fingers and the top pinky key. And that's one of those instances where if you can see on your saxophone, you've got these like rollers. You're going to roll your pinky from the bottom one up to the top one. That's why they have those little rolly keys. Then the A flat is like a G sharp, so it's going to be 3 fingers and the top pinky on your left hand. So if I do all 3 of those notes together, okay, so you've got like a lot of pinky action going on. The next measure, the last measure in the third line, is an A flat. Then you've got C and then B flat. So that one's a B flat and then back down to A flat. So I play it. It's a lot of like, going on. So you got your palm working, you've got your pinky going. This is a tough line. All right, let's do it together. Remember, take it slow, do it in sections if you have to. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
And
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Okay, so that's the third line. The fourth line. The fourth line has some tricky looking rhythms, but they were kind of repeat. So I'm going to go through the rhythm first. We've seen those eighth note triplets, but now if you look at the end of this line, the last measure, the fourth line, you've got a 16th note triplet. So how we would count that is 1 triplet, 2, and triplet. 1 triplet, 2, and 3 tita. So you can count triplets, triplet, or 1 tita, 2 tita, 3 tita. Whatever one you like best is fine. Here we go. I'm going to count the rhythm. Follow along. Fourth line rhythm. 1, 2, ready, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 tita. 1, 3 and 2 and 3 tita. 1 and 3. 1 triplet, 2 and 3 tita. It's like a tongue twister. All right, I'm going to play it, and then we'll talk about the notes.
2, 1, 2.
All right, I'm going to play through it now.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So the hard thing about this, and what I would suggest you guys do, is when you're working on this, write in all the accidentals that carry through the measure. And what I mean by that is if you have an accidental in the beginning of a measure, for instance, the first measure of this line, the fourth line, you got an A flat. The other 2 A flats in this measure are also going to be flat. So if you write a little flat symbol next to them, you won't forget. That's what I would do. I'm looking at a computer screen right now, so I don't have to print it out. But if I were you, I'd be writing all over my music to make sure I'm playing it correctly. Because if you practice it wrong, you're going to learn it wrong, and it's going to be really hard to fix that mistake. So, first measure, we've got A flats in the entire measure. Then we've got in the A flat again is 3 and pinky up here. And then you've got the low E flat, which is 6 fingers and the top pinky down here. So I'll just play that measure. Okay. 1 and 2 and triplet. Then you've got the F sharp, which is 3 and middle finger. A sharp, which is also a B flat, is going to be 2 and the side palm, the bottom side palm. The next measure, everything goes back to natural, except for that F sharp in the triplet. And then in the third measure, the fourth line, it goes to the F natural. So that first finger. Now the last measure is very tricky because you've not only got G sharp, you've also got F sharp throughout the measure. So all the G's and all the F's in the last measure, the fourth line, are going to be sharp. Okay, so it's G sharp again is 3 and pinky, F sharp, 3 and middle finger. Okay? So I would practice this measure by measure, nice and slow. Make sure you got the fingerings correct, and then you can focus on the rhythms.
1,
Here we go.
2,
I'm going to play through the whole line.
3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Okay? And I missed the G sharp in that small triplet. Sorry, guys. But that's the idea. Do your best. And again, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for understanding. So if I hear that you understand these rhythms and you understand the notes, there's a very good chance for you. All right, let's look at the next line. This is the fifth line, starting, and it's the second to last line in the slow section. So rhythms, let's go through them. Similar rhythms to what we've already seen. So I'm going to count and snap the rhythm. Here we go. 1, 2, here's the fifth line. And 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1 and a 2, 1, 2, 3, 1 tita 2, tita 1. So that one's weird because the triplet's a tie. So that last measure, triplet 2, triplet 2, all lit 1, or 1 theta 2, theta 1, going into the next measure. All right, I'll play it now.
2, 3.
There we go.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
And I went to the next measure, just the C, so that I could finish out the line. Okay? So let's talk about the notes. In the first measure, you've got the F sharp, middle finger F, G sharp, 3, and that top pinky in the left hand. All those notes are similar. Watch out, the F in the high range in the third measure is going to be a natural first finger, as well as the others following it. The last note in this line is a high B flat. So kind of like our low one with 1, 2, and side palm, you're going to do that back thumb key as well. And then the high C is just the one in the next line is going to be middle finger on the top hand and that back register key. Okay? Let's do it again.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Here we go.
3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Okay. Now, this next part is pretty tough because you've got some grace notes. Grace notes are kind of like, I want to say they're kind of like a little flick of a note before the actual note. And this part is supposed to be kind of moving and swaying with the tempo. I'm using a metronome so you can be really accurate with your rhythms. But if I was to play this next part, the C's are the first eighth notes. Then you've got these tiny little 16th notes before that really high E. So I'm going to suggest that those of you who are newer, like 6th graders, or even younger 7th graders who are still working on the rhythms, do not play the little grace notes. Just take them out. If you feel confident and you want to put those grace notes in, you're going to play them right before the little fermata. The fermata in your audition, if I were you, I would just take the fermata out. Okay? Don't play the fermata because it's going to be weird if you're just holding a note for however long. So I would just take that out and play it as written. So we're going to play those 3 high notes. Just to review, going into the grace notes, it's going to be C with middle finger and the back thumb key, then back thumb key and this closest palm key, and then back thumb key, that palm key, and the kind of higher palm key, that's the E flat. So it sounds like this. Okay? So if I was going to play that measure, it'd be like that. Those little grace notes will be faster.
1.
Okay.
2.
Now we're going to play
3.
the last line of
1.
the slow section.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to play the first measure nice and slow so you can hear the how the rhythm works with the little grace note. Here we go. Oh, sorry, here we go. Okay, now if I took out the grace note and didn't play it, it'd be... So either way, you can do it. If I was struggling with the rhythm, I would just focus on playing the rhythm correctly and not adding in the grace notes. Another thing to look out for in this line are some of the notes. In the second measure, you have a G flat, which is an F sharp. So 3 fingers, register key, and the middle finger. You've got a D flat, which is a C sharp, no hands, and then it goes back to normal. All right, so here we go.
1,
I'm going to play through the bottom
3,
line of the slow
1,
part of the solo.
2,
and
3,
I'm going
1,
to take out the grace
2,
notes so you can hear what that
3,
sounds like.
1, 2,
Here we go.
3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Okay, so if I were you, until I felt really confident with the whole solo, I'd just take the grace notes out. All right, I'm going to attempt to play the whole part of this slow section for you, so you can hear it all in one big swoop. Again, take this in chunks. I would learn it in lines, and then put each line together. Okay, here we go.
1,
Starting at the beginning.
2, 3.
If I make a
1,
mistake, I'm just going to keep
2,
on going,
3,
just like I would expect you
1,
guys to do in your
2,
recordings when you're
3,
submitting your audition.
1,
It's
2,
all about the best
3,
you can,
1,
the most accurate you
2,
can, and there's
3,
going to be maybe a mistake
1,
here and there, just
2,
like any performance.
3,
Here
1,
we go.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
See, I made mistakes too. Honestly, I'd have to practice this to play it really well, which you guys should be practicing it. And this is just to help you guys get through it. If you want more practice and more help, let me know. Email me. I'd be happy to get together with you and work on this with you. Probably a good idea that I practice it too. So just take your time, little bit by little bit, and let me know if you need any help. The other section will be up soon.